You have said many times that the evil ideology of these extremists has to be defeated. Jordan has about 4,000 people who've joined the jihadis in Syria. It's apparently the biggest per head, per capita, other than Tunisia in that region. And there is a new experiment in Jordan, we read, of a new sort of layout in mosques that imams have to be sanctioned, their sermons, so to speak, have to be sanctioned. How is Jordan dealing with the radicalization of people?
Well, when you say that there are large numbers, it's not surprising, since we are very close to the ground zero of extremism, just by physical proximity. But we realize that the ideological battle is a battle that has to be led by us Muslims. It is our fight for our future as Muslims, and I think every element of society has to be involved in that fight, not just mosques or religious leaders, but it has to be fought in every aspect of our society, in our media, community centers, schools and universities. We do not believe that these people exist on the fringes of Islam. We think that they are altogether outside of Islam, and that's why we call them khawarij, or outlaws. And if you look at their records, many of them go back to criminal cells and prison. They're ex-criminals. So it is very important for us to reveal them for who they are.
Are you doing a good enough job at that?
I don't think any of us are doing a good enough job. We cannot contain this ideology unless we confront it with courage. But in Jordan, we are trying to reveal them for who they are. They are a group of people who pick and choose, they cut and paste, they manipulate certain elements of Islam in order to come up with their own toxic brew. And there was a recent report that revealed that over 70% of their recruits hardly have basic knowledge of Islam, which makes them the ideal candidates so that you could manipulate them and have them fall for the twisted ideology.
Not to mention, some we've heard about drink alcohol, have sex out of marriage. I mean, so many of them.
They're absolutely devoid of any religious or moral legitimacy, and that is something that we need to reveal. You know, as you know, their ability to succeed has depended on their ability to craft messages that resonate with a wide spectrum of people and to disseminate those messages far and wide. And we need to get better at doing that. And, you know, their toxic ideology outlives and outlasts them. So you can kill the extremists, but the perversion and the poison persists. We really need to understand that we need to fight them on the internet, in every element of society. So there needs to be a mind shift.
You're on fire, Your Majesty.
But let me say that, you know, the most probably important thing is to really root out the causes of injustice in our world, because that is where the vulnerability comes. You know, whether it's prisoners who have been humiliated in Abu Ghraib, or the suffering families who've lost everything in Aleppo or in Afghanistan. You know, I think if we allow for the creation of a human being with nothing to lose, then that is probably the greatest injustice that we can inflict on another human being, and it is the greatest threat for the rest of humanity. So
blowback.
Absolutely. We cannot allow for the creation of people with nothing to lose. It's just unfair.
And finally, as a mother and as a mother of girls, you had an event with Michelle Obama, First Lady, about girls' education. And I think during that you said never has there been a bleaker time in your region that you remember. Tell me about that. How as a mother does all of this affect you?
People always look at the urgent issues, the political ramifications. What keeps me up at night is thinking, what kind of future generations are we creating today? With so many children knowing nothing but a lifetime of war and terror, what kind of generation is this? Are they going to be consigned to poverty, to stunted potential, to limited opportunities? Are they going to be more vulnerable to radicalization? So are we creating a world that is more dangerous 10 years from now than it is today? That is something we really need to think about. And girls in particular are extremely vulnerable in these situations, because in addition to having their rights undermined by extremists, we're hearing worrisome reports of gender-based and domestic violence that is amplified by the conflict. And you know, you've heard stories of early marriage, of slavery, of rape. Unfortunately, girls fall through the cracks, and their needs are often the last to be met, and we really need to do something about that.
Your Majesty, Queen Rania, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.